Let's take a look at week 5 in the NBA. A busier week than what we've had recently, so let's break it all down. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and Grover Cleveland spanked me on 2 non-consecutive occasions. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms, but we're also the #1 sports podcast network. So thank you to you guys for helping us get there, and thank you for helping me to push towards 100k subs. We're almost there. Almost there, and if you haven't done it yet, I would appreciate you doing it. Let's talk week 5. Before we do that, again, just sometimes you guys like updates. I am running on the new PC. For all intents and purposes, it's working well. And then sometimes I go to record and everything just turns to crap and it goes completely slowly on the transitions and the crackle is there and I don't know what to do. And I'm incredibly frustrated with it and it's annoying me. I think at the moment this one's going well, but this is just annoying. Shout out to, and if anyone's an audio producer, anyone has got, or a video producer who's got extensive experience with computers, obviously, and using the OBS broadcast software, please, I need to hear from you because something is creating this weird problem that wasn't there before. Even though this is an unbelievably expensive computer with unbelievable amounts of RAM, what do you call it? I don't know. The process, everything is huge, and I don't know what's going on, and it's annoying me. Let's talk whatever this week is, week 5 in the NBA. Like I said, it is a busier week than what we've had. The last 2 weeks we've had some sort of smaller schedules. It's not crazily different, but it is just that little bit busier over the course of the week. Let's have a look at how it plays out. But it is apportioned perfectly, and we love a perfect apportionish. That's not a real word either. We've got Monday with 8 games. We've got Tuesday with 6 games. We've got Wednesday with 9 games. We've got Thursday with 4 games. Looking good so far. We've got Friday, 9 games. Saturday, 7 games. Sunday, 8 games. Oh, it's all perfect. It's perfect. We love these days. There are no double digits. There are no single days. Nothing. So I'm sure from that, you can gather that we don't have any concerns with non-streaming days. It's a really straightforward, easy schedule. And that's great. And that means that we're not at this guy, I'm going to pick him up because his games make more sense on the quality days and all that sort of stuff. That's not a thing that we have to worry about for this week, which is always a W. How about who plays what? How much volume is there in terms of games? Now, I did say that there is more games this week. It's not probably an entirely accurate description. For example, we've got 14 teams playing 4 games, 14 teams playing 3 games. We've got 2 teams playing 2 games. So in terms of volume of games, actually, it's probably the same. It's more just the way that it's distributed that enables more functional games for us this week. That's probably a more accurate way of doing it. The 2-game teams, which is where you got to have the caution. The Lakers have a dreadful schedule. The Lakers and the Rockets play 2 games. If you are watching this live, or you can use the Basketball Monster schedule analyzer and schedule grid to check out who plays what, the 14 teams will play 4 games. Atlanta, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Clippers, Miami, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, Orlando, Philadelphia, Portland, Toronto, and of course the remaining teams play 3 games. And because we know that we are in a situation this week where every team plays, every day is a quality game day, then we don't have to worry too much about is this 4-game team worse than this 3-game team? That's not a thing that's a problem for us this week. So what we can do is we can just go straight. We can go straight into the stream zone if you want. Yeah, there we go. So, like I said, pretty straightforward. Every game, every day is a quality game day. It's really nothing more than that. Like there will be at times some of the previous advice and the general consensus around fantasy basketball was, oh, you want to target the low volume days, a day with 4 games on. Not true. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't know where that idea came from. I don't know why that idea was there and persisted, and no one did anything or thought about it, because it's just not a thing. Like, it's not. If you're in a spot where you've got 4 games on, 4 games, that's great on Thursday, but 6 on Tuesday is fine. 7 on Saturday is fine. 8 on Sunday is fine. You're not going to be in spots on those days where you just have to make start-sit decisions. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know why we were always positioned in that idea or that mentality that you really need to get, where are the 4 or 5 games? They're the real ones to target. Doesn't matter. As long as it's not over 10, you're good. You can have all of your guys playing. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that for some reason persisted, and I was guilty of it too. Until I actually looked at it and went, this is not true. What is this? This is not real. And then we figured it out. So how do we do it? How do we attack the week? How do we stream it through? Theoretically, default league will have, this is not theoretically, a default league on Yahoo, and most leagues will give you 4 moves a week. We can turn 1 roster spot into 7 games, that means. And this week, in particular, when you have got the Rockets playing 2 games, by the way, Tari Eason out for 6 weeks, oblique, you should drop him. Done. If you can hold guys in IL, you do it. Every time I say drop on an injured player, if you've got the IL slot, it literally costs you nothing to just hold them there. But you can move on from Eason very easily with that injury. Is there an ad? Not really. What you're going to have is Dorian Finney-Smith returning, and he just probably takes all those minutes immediately. It might just bump Jabari a little bit. It might give 1 or 2 minutes to Reed Shepherd, but otherwise it's just a Kogi plays a couple extra. There's no wow, this guy's going to be the big replacement here. I don't think anyway. Anyway, 7 games, 4 moves. That's what you can get. If you're in a league where you've got 7 moves, or you want to use 2 streaming slots, you can obviously do more. You could get 14 games in. We can't really get 14 with 7 moves, but you can get 12 games in with 7 moves. And if you had a fringe Laker or a fringe Rocket player, you can really get a big advantage over your opponent. Now, I guess the question will be is who's droppable from the Rockets or from the Lakers? And this is going to depend on numerous factors. We'll talk about the actual moves. I know some of you would have 100% before yesterday said, I'm dropping Deandre Ayton. He's only got 2 games. He's a bum. And then he went out and absolutely dominated. Dominated, in fact. Dominated. All right? I don't believe Ayton's a drop. I never have believed that Ayton is a drop. And I still don't believe that Ayton is a drop. Even with this horrendous Lakers schedule. Who is a drop, though, is Marcus Smart. Jake LaRavia. Should we drop the other guy? I think we probably should. So Rui Hachimura can go, right? You don't have to hold on to these guys. In Houston, I guess the debate is Reed Shepherd. Maybe a little bit debate on Jabari Smith. I would probably hold Jabari, and I would probably hold Reed. Although it's annoying that he keeps holding at 26 minutes. I would prefer to sacrifice the waiver streaming flexibility for this week and hold Reed Shepherd than drop him to gain some games. That's how I would look at that. But I would also understand the flip side of it. Now, you're not dropping Amen Thompson, obviously. You're not dropping Kevin Durant. You're not dropping Alperen Şengün. None of that's happening. Jabari and Reed are the 2 ones in Houston. And I think for the most part, you hold. But obviously, Tari Eason, with the injury and the schedule, it would have been the easier. I think it would have been an okay call anyway for Eason with this week. If you really, especially if you wanted to chalk up some victories, you could have done it. But it's an easy call now, very obviously. So how do we do it? How do we get this extra games through? Well, what you can start with is Monday to Tuesday. Detroit has a back-to-back. Now, they're very banged up, so you might get Denise Jenkins. You might get Isaiah Stewart. You might get basketball Paul Reed. You might get a random Javonte Green sighting. You might get rugged Ronnie Holland. There are a number of guys in Detroit that you can get for a back-to-back. Now, it can be upended completely because if Duran and Cade come back for one of those 2 games, then Denise Jenkins will be great and then bad. And Reed will be great and then bad. But I think Asar Thompson might sit in both. I think Toby Harris might be out for both. And I'm pretty sure Jaden Ivey will be out for both. So there's still opportunities there. So you can do a Piston Monday, Tuesday. You can then flip a Piston into either a Philadelphia 76er, Dominic Barlow, Quentin Grimes. There's going to be, if he was available, there's obviously going to be some stuff there with Kelly Oubre as well. Because he's out he hurt his knee, so I'm not sure he's going to be available. But obviously Andre Drummond, even a Dembona, maybe Trina Watford. And then Sacramento, yes, Dennis Schroeder is a drop. He lost his starting spot. He was never a must roster player through the draft process, and he's bad now. But like, if you decided that he was a drop, or Malik Monk was a drop, or you got Precious Achua on the wire, then you try those guys on that back-to-back. Then we have the next back-to-back, which is Friday, Saturday, which gives us a plethora, in fact. Chicago, Dallas, Denver, the Pelicans, the Wizards. You can find someone there to add for 2 games. And then you've got 1 move left. Final day, you attack it with what you need for that day. Whoever plays on the Sunday, you can just add. And that is turning Marcus Smart, Rui Hachimura, Jake LaRavia into 7 games. And that is a huge W for you if you're able to do that. We'll come back and we'll talk more schedule quirks, back-to-backs, that sort of stuff. Today's episode, though, it is, of course, brought to you by the legends over at Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. And with Robinhood, you play for the win. Not just on game day, but every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR and beating it again. You can channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options and futures and crypto, all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time with the NBA season here. You want to go watch your favorite team live. You want to get into the arena to watch these feats of mastery occur. But buying tickets can be a pain. Surprise fees, surging prices, long queues. It's a real pain and it gets frustrating when all you want to do is get in there to watch your team. That's where Game Time comes in. It gives you the advantage as a fan. The ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Their zone deals are awesome. You just pick an area of the arena that you want to sit, and Game Time will give you the best value ticket that they can find there. Plus, you can even get NBA tickets for under $25. The price you see on the tickets is also the price that you pay. You don't get the hidden fees that are chucked on at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. I've stuck the headphones on because it was... I'm still worried about how all this stuff works. So we're monitoring at the moment, but I think it's going all right. Let's take a look at some schedule quirks. What are some weird things happening across the week, and how can we maybe take advantage of them or avoid some of the pitfalls here? There are 3 teams that do not have a game on the first 2 days of the week, and that is Sacramento, Washington, and of course Houston, when they've only got 2 games for the week anyway, so they're off to begin the week. There are 3 teams that don't have a game on the weekend. 4 teams, Golden State, Houston, Indiana, and Minnesota. There are 2 teams here. Now, we talked about Detroit already on the Stream Zone as being a team that we can take a look at to start the week with a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back, but then they have 3 days off. So if you are like considering, I'm going to do a long hold of Paul Reed or Dennis Jenkins, Javonte Green, who was really good on the weekend, again, those sort of players, like nice back-to-back, and then nothing. And that's where you move on. So between Wednesday to Friday, Detroit do not play. And this is where the Lakers stuff comes in. They have 4 days off. Between Wednesday and Saturday, the Lakers do not play. That is, they've got 2 games, obviously. So they play on Sunday and they play on Tuesday. That's it. That's a really, really bad schedule. And you'll also notice that when we look at the periods of time Which teams have one game in 5 nights? Well, it's a lot of Lakers. Between Sunday of week 4 to Thursday, the Lakers have one game in 5 nights. To start the week between Monday and Friday, the Lakers have one game in 5 nights. Between Tuesday to Saturday, the Lakers have one game in 5 nights. Between Wednesday to Sunday, the Lakers have one game in 5 nights. Now, the Pistons also have one game in 5 nights to end the week. So they start with a back-to-back and then one game in 5 nights. A very weird schedule there for Detroit to start off with that. Start with that back-to-back for the week and then just play once more. Like that, it's very strange. It's good if you've got guys who are struggling a little bit, like Cunningham and like Duran and like Asar Thompson, because it gives an opportunity to get some more rest in. But it's a little bit weird in terms of scheduling, and as you can see, we'll continue to say it, the Lakers just have a horrific run of scheduling for this week. What other little quirks can we take a look at here? Well, we'll start with the 3 game in 4 night periods. You've got between Sunday and Wednesday, there are 5 teams: Chicago, Dallas, Golden State, New Orleans, Portland. Between Monday and Thursday, it's just one. It's Philadelphia, so you know there's a big run for Andre Drummond coming in there, and Embiid's not playing 3 and 4. We know that. Tuesday to Friday, it's Golden State and Portland. You'll see Golden State's and Portland's name mentioned twice there between Sunday and Friday. They've got 2 separate 3 game in 4 night stretches. Wednesday to Saturday, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, New Orleans, Sacramento, Washington. Now, if you remember back to week 4, the back end of the week was not very busy. This week, we have got more stuff happening towards the back end of the week. We've got the 3 game in 4 night periods, which is something that we didn't have last week. And we look at the final 4 days of the week, the Thursday through to Sunday, which we had no teams that had this last week. This week, we've got 3. Atlanta, the Clippers, and your Orlando Magic. Where you can stream those guys in, get 3 and 4 to end the week. What about some other little stretches and chunks of games and days that we can take a look at? We've got 4 games in 6 nights, Sunday through to Friday. Chicago, Dallas, Golden State, New Orleans, and Portland. Monday through to Saturday. So these are 4 game teams that are done by Saturday, which is useful because you can, if you want to like minimize how many ads you use, you can use these teams and then you drop them after Saturday and then just add a singular Sunday. So Chicago, Dallas, Denver, New Orleans. Tuesday through to Sunday, which is, they're off on Monday, obviously, but then they pack in the 4 games. Atlanta, Orlando, and Portland have that particular run of scheduling. The next little bit, and this is, again, one of the things that can be hidden. We don't have a 5 game week this week, but we sort of do. Because between Sunday and Saturday, which is 7 days, 1 week, 3 teams play 5 games. Chicago, Dallas, the Pelicans. Now, we know that Zion Williamson is ready to return. He's been upgraded from questionable. He's not going to play 5 games in 7 nights. Give you the real hot tip there. He'll play 3 maybe. So your Derik Queens and Jeremiah Fears are still going to have relevance, even if, as we think might happen, even if Zion impacts Queen, who very much could happen, Zion's not going to play these games. And you've got bulk quantity games between Sunday to Saturday for the Pelicans. We've also got a bunch of teams playing 5 games in 8 nights. So we're talking Sunday week 4 to Sunday week 5. A bunch of teams in that particular scenario, and a lot of them actually: Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Magic, and the Blazers. And then Monday of week 5 to Monday of week 6, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Miami, New Orleans, Portland, Toronto. And you can usually get a bit of a spoiler with this stuff. That if you see someone that's got 5 games in 8 nights on the Sunday to Sunday, and then that same team also has 5 games in 8 nights Monday to Monday, well, they're probably going to appear in the list of teams that have a 6 game in 9 night run. And that is the case, because that's just how things work. Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and Portland, 6 games, 9 nights. The final day of week 4 into the first game of, or the first day of week 6. 6 games, 9 nights. If you're really looking to slow play it and not go hard on the streaming, there is bulk value. And the problem is that some of these teams are so confusing, like Dallas. Chicago, not as much, but you got the Kevin Huerters, you got the Trey Joneses, you've got Jalen Smith, who's even playing well. Then you got the Fears and Queen and those sort of, and Sadiq Bey in New Orleans. There is a lot of value just in a little 6 game in 9 night run. that these guys are running out there. We are going to come back and we're going to talk about back-to-backs. Before we do that, though, today's episode, it is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Yes, the NBA is back and FanDuel is here, ready to provide you with the best way to get in on the action. You know that when you're watching the NBA, you might see something, go, oh, I think something's happening here. Well, with FanDuel, you can actually go in and take full advantage of that. You can live bet who's going to score next. Is there going to be a comeback? Who's got the hot hand? What are they going to score in the second half? Maybe they close the gap. You can bet all of those live betting activities on FanDuel. Plus, you can combine your live bets on FanDuel into a same game parlay to increase your chances of a bigger payout. FanDuel doesn't just have that, but they've got also, if you're going to be a new customer and join up on FanDuel, which you can do at FanDuel.com, you go over there, and if you bet a $5 bet, your first $5 bet, and it wins, you get $300 in bonus bets where you can use right across the app. So, head to FanDuel.com, sign up, place your first $5 bet, win your first $5 bet, get your $300 in bonus bets. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Let's take a look now at the existence of the back-to-backs. Who has got these back-to-backs? Because this week it is important because we're in a situation where there are no high-volume days. So we can take advantage of the back-to-backs, and there is only one combination of days this week where we don't have a back-to-back, which we'll get to in a second. So Sunday to Monday. So this is how you can take advantage of winning week 4 and getting a head start in week 5. Chicago, Dallas, the Clippers, and the Pelicans. And you notice Chicago, Dallas, and the Pelicans are the team we already talked about, the teams we talked about who have got 6 games in 9 nights. Monday to Tuesday, this is where we start the week. We talked about it, the Pistons, the only team there. Tuesday to Wednesday, Golden State and Portland. I think if you want to maximize your games played this week, you don't really pay attention to that back-to-back for a reason which I'll mention in a sec. Wednesday to Thursday, the back-to-back is Philadelphia, Sacramento. And the reason, well, I should have just mentioned it anyway, the reason that Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back is not as important if you're maxing out your games is that if you go Tuesday to Wednesday, then look to drop someone you added there is no Thursday, Friday back-to-back. So you can't take it back-to-back into back-to-back. And if you're starting Tuesday, that means you did a single Monday stream. Although I guess you could have done the Sunday, Monday into it, and then done Tuesday, Wednesday, but then you'd have to do like a singular Thursday stream where there's not many games on, and then you've got like Friday, Saturday combination, and then a singular Sunday. It doesn't work out in terms of maxing out your games played. So like I said, the Thursday, Friday is the only period this week where we don't have a back-to-back. But we do have Friday, Saturday, Chicago, Dallas, Denver, New Orleans, and Washington. And we do have a weekend back-to-back. We didn't have one in week 4, but we do have one this week. We've got Atlanta again, Charlotte, the Clippers, and the Magic. I think the Hornets have had weekend back-to-backs every week apart from the week they only played 2 games. I think that, and this week when there's no weekend back-to-back. But like they always seem to have a weekend back-to-back. The Clippers also always seem to be in that position for whatever reason. That can bring us now to talk about weekly leagues and weekly ads. Now, sometimes nomenclature, jargon can be confusing. And I just want to, again, always want to make it clear because I never know, or you never know who's a new person that's coming in and watching or listening. When I talk about a weekly league, it does not mean a league that has a matchup that lasts a week. It's a league where your lineup is set once a week and you can't touch it. Where quality games don't matter. Where streaming doesn't matter. Where back-to-backs don't matter. Well, they matter, but in a different way. A weekly league is not we match up for the week. A weekly league is the lineup sets for a week. These players are all available in a lot of spots. Now, there's risk with them. The Blizzard, Derik Queen. Get your t-shirt off, but get him into your lineups. Yes, we worry about Zion. Andre Drummond. Yes, Embiid could appear. Paul George could appear. Not that that really impacts Drummond, but like Drummond is worth having for the week. Jeremiah Fierce. Yes, Jeremiah Fierce, the weekly ad. 4 games. Love it. Colin Sexton's iffy. LaMelo returned yesterday. He played 15 minutes. It was huge minutes for the big Areola, Concanipo. It was a lot of Sion James. It was a lot of Trey Mann. But I don't know that that's going to be the case every game. And the exact same thing I'll say for Brandon Williams, who'd played 33 minutes and 33 minutes, and then played 16 minutes while D'Angelo Russell played 30, who'd played 14 in the previous 2 games. So, like, good luck if you're trying to predict that, because you can't. What all that sort of stuff should do is when you're considering, especially when you're considering in the future, because we've talked about people making mistakes on overspending on Brandon Williams in fab, or overspending on Josh Minot in fab, or doing whatever, is that these players can be good. We have a level of confidence they're going to be good, and we want to grab them because we like the possibility if it works out. But there's no guarantee with players who are fringe guys like this. They don't come in and lock in and just play big minutes every game. They could, but you saw it. Williams had 2 really good games. And old mate Jason Kidd went, nah, you did something I didn't like there, benched. So I don't know what happens now. Does D'Lo become a 30-minute-a-night guy? I really doubt it. Does Williams play 30 minutes in all of these games this week? I honestly couldn't tell you. But even though it's frustrating to see that sort of thing happen after you've added Brandon Williams, and we talk about him being a must-add, because a must-add is a must-add because you just should go and grab that guy and we see what happens. It's not about he's a must roster because he's going to cook with absolute guarantee. That's just not how any of this stuff works. What it is about is grabbing it, trying it, but also it's good to get a reminder like, yeah, this guy's not that good, or this coach is very unpredictable, and things can go right at any point. Like Cooper Flagg is not going to play 17 minutes in a game because he got benched. He might have some struggles, but he's not going to do that. But someone like Williams might not. If you took a flyer on Jordan Walsh, even like Jeremiah Fears, for example, who's had that, even though Bill Green fired now, so we'll see what James Borrego does and whether he changes his opinion, whether that matters at all. But all of that stuff, it's just a good reminder of where players who might step up and you think it's the new Linsanity or whatever it is, you can get slapped at any point because the coach doesn't have the equity built into that player. But I still think that adding Williams or even Sexton, Fears, Drummond, Queen, these guys are available on waiver wires for reasons. You add them, you start them, and the risk is present, but I think it's worth it. The other part of weekly leagues is what do you do when your players play only 2 games? When 14 teams play 3 and 14 teams play 4. So we're talking Houston and we're talking the Lakers. If we're in a standard 12-man, 150-player rostered league, I think that the guys that you start are Alperen Şengün, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. LeBron might be back. Don't start him. Don't start Amen Thompson. Don't start Jabari Smith. Obviously, don't start Deandre Ayton, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia. Don't start those guys. If you're in a league that's 130 deep, I think Doncic, yes. Şengün, maybe. Reeves and Durant wouldn't. If you're in a 100-player league, don't start any of them. I don't think any of them will be good enough for the most. Doncic, maybe. But I don't think that that'll be enough. We'll see. That is a look at the week 5 in the NBA. I hope that quality-wise we got through this pretty well. There were some frustrations in the middle, and I still have yet to figure it out, and it's doing my absolute head in, as you know. Let's get to 100K so that I can employ someone to give me head massages regularly so I can ease that tension. Guys, or if you just want to volunteer and come around and do that for free, that'd be good too. Guys, we are done here. Drop it in the bottom. I will rub your head, Josh. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.